What's going on, everybody? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another, and I mean another, banger. So, yeah, man, please smash that like button and subscribe. And we're going to talk Thurman versus Tszyu and Rolly versus Pitbull on both on the same card live on Saturday, March 30th. It will be live on pay-per-view. So Amazon Prime is linking up with the PBC, and it's looking like Premier Boxing Champions move forward in another part of their career, you guys. Keith Thurman's getting a little old in the tooth. Smash that like button before I break down these fights. I've already broke down the Thurman versus Tszyu. You guys can go check that other video out. But I'll break it down a little bit on this one as well. Um, but we got Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz. Um, Man, Pitbull, I feel like was on the auctioning block. I mean, he was literally Golden Boy wanted him to fight. You know, Oscar De La Hoya wanted him to fight Ryan Garcia, and it was almost like Cruz went to the highest. You know what I mean? And I mean, well, he was always fighting with PBC, and Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz, I think it's a pretty good fight, and I think it's a winnable fight for Cruz. Um, Not so much Rolly. I don't believe in Rolly's jab. I don't believe in Rolly's, a lot of the things Rolly does. The only thing Rolly does have, and you better respect it, is power. So he does hold the key to the power meter, and Rolly will knock you out. Rolly will make no, you know, make nothing to try not to think too deeply on Rolly, not being able to box, not being able to move. A lot. Some say a lot would say flat footed. It's a lot of things that Rolly Romero does that questions the quote unquote boxer. You know what I mean? I mean, he doesn't, he does a lot of movements that aren't, you know, your typical boxer. You know what I mean? I mean, I just feel like sometimes Rolly doesn't even know what he's gonna do. But that makes it work, that makes it work for him. It's worked for him this far. He only has one loss, and that's to Javante Tank Davis. That's not a bad loss. Some would say that's not a bad loss at all. Smash that like button, man. Charles D in the chat says Rolly is trash. Damn, man. So I'm guessing you're thinking Pitbull is gonna win, huh, Charles? But yeah, man. Right now, Rolly Romero versus Pitbull Cruz. Um, Some would say it's a 50-50 fight. Some say it would be 60-40 Rolly. Some say 60-40 Pitbull. You got a fight on your hands. That's what I do know. Um, Both fights are really, really close. I truly believe, but they could go either way. It depends on what fighter shows up in Thurman. Is the old come forward, knock your head off Thurman gone, or is that dog still in him? And for Rolly and Pitbull, we know Pitbull is a dog. I mean, shit, his name's Pitbull, but can Cruz take the power shots of Rolly? That's going to be a big question. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, y'all. Let's definitely get these likes up. Smash that like button. But Rolly hits hard. So Rolly can end, you know, he can end, Pitbull's night at any given time. It's not out of the realm of possibilities for Pitbull Cruz to be laying on the canvas. It's hard in there, when you're in those, tight places, and you can't box your way out of it, and Pitbull Cruz being short and stocky cuts off the ring what is Rolly to do? I don't believe enough in Rolly's boxing ability that he can keep Pitbull off of him for 12 full rounds. You know, I feel like eventually Pitbull Cruz is gonna, get the memo, and this guy can't fuck with me. And I just think that. But the key to that is when you're going in like that, like Pitbull Cruz is gonna have to go in. You leave yourself vulnerable, and put Pitbull Cruz's case because his defense is, questionable at times. He got hit, repeatedly by Gervonta Tank Davis when they fought. That was a close fight too, some would say. I think Gervonta Davis won that fight, for sure. But a lot of people have talked about that and that performance, and they think that maybe lightning can strike the bottle twice. It's like, can Rolly Ramiro hang with Pitbull Cruz in the trenches? You know what I mean? It's gonna get murky in there. Are you ready? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get ugly in there. Are you ready? I have questions for Rolly, and I got questions for Pitbull. You know, both guys have been in the trenches before, but we seen when Rolly was in the trenches, he couldn't survive. Not against Gervonta Tank Davis. No, sir. Both of these guys have fought Gervonta Tank Davis. Both guys are old fights that Gervonta Tank Davis have had. Both of these guys are on Gervonta Tank Davis's resume. Facts. Rolly with a stoppage loss, and Pitbull Cruz with a decision loss. You guys got to understand, man. Boxing is a business. I don't think any close fights. I don't think if it's a close fight, I think it's gonna go. Obviously, if it's a close fight, it's gonna go. I'm gonna say it's gonna go Rolly's way, because I think he's more of the A side in that scenario, which I'm not sure why, but being that they kind of fought similar opponents, they both fought, Pip. I mean, they both fought Gervonta Tank Davis. They both lost, and right now, man, I just want to see what both guys can do. I think Rolly Ramiro is a good fighter, but I think he needs he know what is what the freak is Bullet training him on, man. He needs to get a jab. Rolly Ramiro needs to find a jab, and he needs to find it by March 30th. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. You know, Rolly Ramiro needs to find a jab, and he needs to find it by March 30th. You know, this is for the WBA World Super Lightweight Championship. Okay. So there is a belt on the line. This is a 12-round fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 12-round fight. This will be a 12-round fight, you know. All Rolly has lost to is Gervonta Davis. But the last fight that he had in 2023, against Ismael Barroso, which was 24-3, and he was over 40 years old. At the time of the stoppage, you know, a lot of the judges had Rolly down in that fight. 75, 76, 74, 77, and 73, 78. So it was definitely a close fight, but Rolly needed that knockout. Ishmael Borso wind up, moving on, and actually winning. He wind up moving on, and he actually wind up winning and beating O'Hara Davis in the first round. Davis was down twice, and Barroso wind up being able to beat him and getting that WBA interim world title. Um, you know, So with that WBA on the line, Ismail Barroso, the guy that some say could have beaten Rolly Romero, he's gonna be facing. I mean, he's gonna be trying to look to face the winner of Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz. Barroso is getting up there in age. He's 40 plus years old, but this is wild as shit. His career debut, okay, when he debuted as a professional boxer was in 2005, okay? He's been a professional for 19 years, okay? And he hurt Rolly Romero in that fight. He hurt Rolly Romero and Rolly Romero was losing that fight, you know. But Rolly Romero dug deep and he was able to pull it off, man. But a lot of people wouldn't mind seeing that rematch. So I mean, Ismael Barroso is taking a real good look at this fight, man, against Rolly versus Pitbull, and it's like, yo, I'm facing the winner of this fight. He's the WBA interim champion, and this is for the WBA championship. So like I said, Barroso is in the cut. He's chilling, and he's 40 years old. It was supposed to be O'Hara Davis that was going to be facing the winner of this fight. But it's not. That's why we do boxing. That's why boxing is one of the best sports, if not the best sport in the history, of sports, because you test yourself, man. You got to test yourself. Look at this guy, Ismael Barroso. A lot of guys would have quit, or gave in their career at 40. Listen. Barroso's been he's had a career, okay, that spanned almost 2 decades. Next year will be 2 decades that the current WBA interim champion Ismael Barroso is watching this fight that's coming up with a you know a magnifying glass. He wants to see what Rolly and what Pitbull show up, you know, because he has a similar fighting style as well. Both these guys, all three of these guys that I'm naming, the interim champion and Barroso and Rolly and versus Pitbull, all three of these guys have similar styles, meaning they all don't mind mixing it up in the middle. And distance is not a problem. They rather not have any distance, to be honest. You know, I mean, Barroso does have I think he has the better jab out of all of these guys. But I mean, he's been a boxer for almost 20 years. You know, he's been a boxer for almost 20 years. You guys, 20 freaking years. And so and I don't believe he's ever been a champion. He's been a WBA interim world champion back in 2015 against Kevin Mitchell. Yeah, see, from the WBA feeble lightweight belt. That's not a world title. And then he lost to Rolly Romero. That was for the WBA World Super Lightweight vacant title. He wound up getting stopped in that fight. But Ismael Barroso, man, I think it's a winnable fight for either guy that comes out of this. Because listen, he was beating Rolly Romero in that first fight. He just got to make a few adjustments. He's 40 years old, make a few adjustments, and get back to it. But as far as Thurman and Tszyu goes, man, this is gonna be a fun fight, man. This is gonna be a fight that a lot of boxing fans are not gonna mind watching. You know, I think Keith Thurman is gonna be there to trade. I think Tszyu gonna be there to trade, and I think both guys are gonna be in there, willing to trade. I think we could possibly be getting two knockouts in back-to-back fights. And the Rolly versus Pitbull fight, I can see that going left quick. And the Thurman versus Tszyu fight, I can see that going left quick. Listen, versus the Thurman versus Tszyu fight, I'll know in the first 3 rounds what's gonna happen in this fight. Because if Thurman can't take Tszyu's power, it's gonna be an early night. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, y'all. Let's definitely get them likes up, man. You know, and I'm being honest. You know, if if Thurman cannot take, Tim's power, he better pack it in early, man. Because it's gonna be a long night, man. Because Tszyu has power. Tim has power. If he doesn't have anything else, he has power. Ask Tony Harrison that. Former unified 154-pound champion. Detroit's home. Tony Harrison got stopped brutally by Tim Tszyu. It was a good thing that they did, step in and stuff like that. And it just it was gonna be more punishment. Tim is a hungry, champion, and this is a way that Tim can actually prove that he actually is the champion, because a lot of people say that Tim was given that belt. They're saying Tim was given that belt. That's what some will say. I mean, it doesn't say there's a belt on the line, so hey, maybe they haven't stripped, Charlo yet. But it's not saying on BoxRec that there's a title on the line for that fight. But I can see where there could be a title on this fight. Tim's been in. I know this is at least an interim belt, I would say, on the line. But as far as Tim, I think his accuracy, the way he fights, I think he could definitely win this fight. And right now, I just feel like Keith Thurman has to really go hard in training. I mean, he's got to train like, you haven't had a day off in 3 years. I mean, you got to train like this is your life, dude. Because there's a lot riding on Keith Thurman winning this fight. If Keith Thurman can somehow win this fight, he's automatically thrown back into the list of top 147, top 154-pound fighters. If Keith Thurman can somehow pull this shit off and beat Tim, which I think Tim is gonna come in as the favorite. If Keith can come through and win, not only is this huge for his career, I think he can challenge Charlo for his belts. And I would love to see that fight. Jermell Charlo versus Keith Thurman. You want to talk about a build-up? You want to talk about a press conference? That's pay-per-view worthy within itself. Because mind you, Jermell Charlo is just coming off one of the shittiest performances of his career fighting Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people said he tucked ass. You know what I mean? And he didn't go out like a glorious champion, and that you would think that an undisputed champion would actually go in and actually literally try to trade and actually fight, and Jermell Charlo wasn't trying to do that. He was trying to survive. I think he was trying to survive in that fight. It's different when you get in the trenches, man. Them trenches ain't nothing to mess with. It's different in there, man. No doubt, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about this fight, man. I got to get me some shutout. I am tired as I don't know what. So I do have to lay down, man. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. If you want to donate, you can donate to the Cash App. But yeah, man, this fight is going down, man. Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu and Rolly Romero versus Pitbull Cruz, man. It is going down March 30th, you guys, on Prime, Amazon Prime. And you know, that's funny that it's on Amazon Prime, you know. I know a lot about Amazon, you know. But yeah, man, let me go. You guys have a great night. I appreciate all you guys' support. Please leave a comment in the comment section. And let me know who you guys think is gonna win both fights. All right. You guys have a blessed weekend. Peace. This is 6 for 6. Peace.